Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ITS Georgia August 25th chapter meeting. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping notes. To receive your PhD certificate, follow the link in the YouTube chat section. That's also where you'll post your questions of the panel. So please add your questions as you think of them, and we'll get to them. We'll get them to the moderator. So without further ado, here's Chapter President Winter Horrible. Go ahead, Winter.
Oh, let me make sure I'm on. I think you guys can hear me. Nope, maybe not. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. You sound
awesome.
great.
I'm seeing some yeses. Sorry about that. I just pulled out my headphones. So hello, everyone. ITS Georgia's members and guests. This is our 6th month hosting our monthly meeting virtual. We have not met in person since our February meeting at Georgia Tech. I sure do miss seeing all of you in person, and hopefully soon, as long as we can all stay safe, we'll get to do that again. I hope you have all managed to remain safe during this time and well. As far as ITS Georgia, we are continuing to push forward during these times and continue to work together to make decisions regarding future meetings. We want to thank you for providing us all with some grace as we move through this world of uncertainty with things changing on a daily basis. I want to announce that there is still need for laptops by students in our state, and even more so now that most schools have started this year as digital learning only, and some have went in person and going back to digital learning. So please keep that in mind. As mentioned before, we have teamed up with the Boys and Girls Club and are being updated with the technology needs in our local community. We are still taking donations, and with one click, you can help a child in our community to have the same technology advantage as so many of our own kids, nieces, nephews, and friends' kids. So just keep that in mind. The dates for the annual meeting are September 27th through the 29th. I just want to make a big note here, our limited in-person registration will be closed out by the end of the day. There will be some updates to this annual meeting page, so be prepared to look for that. We understand that many of you are unable to be there in person, and the annual meeting committee led by Dino has also opened up virtual registration. So please go and sign up for that virtual part. Our technical committee, Whitney, has done a great job on getting some really good people in, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Keep in mind, though, that even though we will be closing our in-person registration, that hotel accommodations will remain open and available for any of you who want to come watch from the lovely Westin via your room or the beach. Since it is virtual, you can just head on out to the beach and listen to us that way. Who doesn't want to do that, especially right now? I want to thank those who have already signed up to sponsor this event. Given all the unknowns in the world today, sponsorships are what allows us as ITS Georgia to even exist. Even with the unknowns this year, please keep in mind that we have found through our monthly meetings that sponsorship exposure is greatly increased via the virtual format. So please don't hesitate. And if you do have any questions, please contact Dino Pampolino. He has done an amazing job charging and putting forth all the efforts with his committee and the committee volunteers who have worked tirelessly to pull this together. And just give us a call, give anybody on the board a call, give me a call if you have any questions about it. We're here to try and help you and help all of us maneuver through this. Our October monthly meeting at this time is looking to have an in-person component at City Springs. We will be monitoring that, obviously. It's discussing EV demands. And then our November meeting it will be held at Maggiano's, again, monitoring the situation, where we will be handing out our awards. Please nominate locals, any kind of organizations, companies that you see fit for any of our awards. Go online, make a note of that. There are many people who are doing some really awesome things right now, and let's get them, let's show what they're doing and make that a thing. I want to show my appreciation for our ITS Georgia board and volunteers for guiding our organization through these uncertain times. There have been many subcommittees formed with many meetings throughout the month to discuss many different items. This is all volunteer time, and I just want to thank the individual board members as well as the companies, organizations they work for. It has been truly a team effort in trying to move things forward in 2020. We do have some board seats opening up, and be on the lookout for a ballot. Most likely it will come out on Monday as the election process is underway. I want to thank all of you for tuning in today to our August meeting to hear from a panel of the finest from GDOT You will all see them in a little bit, but before we begin the technical side of this program, I want to present this month's sponsor, as we cannot, as I've mentioned before, keep these monthly meetings going or this organization going without our sponsorship. So I want to throw out a big thank you to Percy Caldwell with Belden for your continued support with ITS Georgia. And we look forward to hearing a few words about you and your company. So Percy, just unmute and have at it.
Yes, thank you, Winter. Hello, everybody. My name is Percy Caldwell. I'm the new Industrial Solutions Account Manager for Belden for Georgia. I'm based out of Powder Springs. Many of you might know Tammy Healy. I took over for her. She's still with Belden, but she's moved into a more national role. So I look forward to meeting each of you and working with you. I would say when things return to normal, but we have no idea when that's going to happen. But it sounds like we're going to have an October meeting here locally, depending on how things go. So I look forward to meeting a lot of you there. First and foremost, I just want to say, I hope everyone and their loved ones are staying safe during this pandemic. It's times like this where we, are getting constant reminders of what's important in life, what things matter the most. And we all can agree that our family safety is at the top of that list. So first and foremost, again, I just want to wish everybody well and hope everybody's staying safe. For those of you who aren't familiar with Belden, we're a leading manufacturer of network infrastructure solutions. So from your Ethernet networks to rail vehicles, intelligent traffic solutions, passenger Wi-Fi, passenger information systems, video surveillance, and wireless signaling, we have a full portfolio of products to be able to support these applications. Our products range from switches to cabling to connectors to software. These products are industry-leading in performance, support, and we have industry-leading warranties to go along with these products. In addition to that, we have services such as engineering and maintenance to help deploy these solutions. So I can talk for this about hours, but only have 5 minutes. So for the time being, if you want more detail about our transportation solutions, as well as case studies, white papers, and other pertinent information, you can refer to that on our website. Our website is simply www.belden.com. If you click on the markets portion, we have a segment dedicated just for the transportation vertical, and you'll find all the information there. Also, for those who are going to be in the meeting on September 27th, I'll be there as well. I'm looking forward to working with each of you there and meeting you and discussing in further detail how our products and services can fit your needs in person. So please feel free to reach out to me at any moment. My email address is percy.caldwell@belden.com. Again, my email address, percy.caldwell@belden.com. And my phone number is 765-994-9069. Again, 765-994-9069. Hope everybody's doing well, and I'll turn it back to Winter. Let's have a good meeting.
Thank you again, Percy, and thank you, Belden. And now again, thank you for tuning in today to hear from GDOT, as this group will be discussing several new technologies being piloted to directly connect with drivers. They will share some preliminary results for those small c, small v connected vehicle technologies and how they think it will change traffic operations in the near future. I want to introduce one of our very own ITS Georgia board members, Matt Glasser, as the moderator, in which Matt mentioned this is his first time moderating. A few of us find that hard to believe, but we'll go with it. Matt Glasser is GDOT's Assistant State Traffic Engineer over statewide interstate operations. He began his career with GDOT in 2012 and has had the opportunity to work in district road design, ITS, and RTOP. Matt has a bachelor's in civil engineering from Georgia Tech and is a licensed professional engineer in Georgia. So Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can introduce us to our panel.
Thanks, Winter. I appreciate that. As Winter said, we have 3 speakers today from GDOT. Those are Marc Plotkin, Robert Baker, and Chad Hendon. And, as I do want to take a moment to give myself a little bit of a disclaimer here that, the technologies that we'll be discussing, as Winter just alluded to, are the small c, small v connected vehicle technologies. And unfortunately, that's the best the industry so far has been able to come up with. So if you guys have better ways of describing this, we are all open ears. And even though they do allow us to directly connect with motorists, they should not be confused with the types of technologies that are the capital C, capital V connected vehicle technologies, those that are like DSRC and CV2X. That being said, all of our speakers will take your questions at the end, so please go ahead and submit them in the chat box as you have them. And with all of my disclaimers out of the way, let me go ahead and start the introductions. First is Marc Plotkin. He is the TMC manager for the GDOT Transportation Management Center in Atlanta. He has been in the position for 2.5 years, overseeing 511 services, Metro Atlanta and District 3 incident management support contracts, the statewide traffic incident management services contract, and the next generation ATMS platform. Marc has worked with the department for the last 7 years, all in the Office of Traffic Operations. He's originally from Stamford, Connecticut, and earned his bachelor's degree in civil engineering technology from Southern Poly. Of course, we're very sorry for both the Stamford, Connecticut, and Southern Poly. Robert Baker, traffic operations manager for the Georgia TMC in Atlanta, where he oversees the 511 incident management group. He has 15 years of experience in the transportation engineering field in Georgia, the last 7 of which were spent as an employee of GDOT. Originally from Savannah, Georgia, he has earned his bachelor's degree in civil engineering technology from Georgia Southern University. And finally is Chad Hendon. He is the TMC operations manager and CHAMP program manager for the TMC, where he helps oversee the 511 program and manage the CHAMP program on a day-to-day basis. Chad has 25 years of experience in logistics and operations, 14 of which of those years have been at the GDOT TMC. Chad is originally from Louisiana and moved to Griffin, Georgia in 1990. He earned his bachelor's degree from Clayton State College and University and has a master's degree from American Intercontinental University. So with that, let me go ahead and share my screen and get these guys started.
Thanks, Matt. And we appreciate everyone taking time to join us today for this presentation. The 3 solutions we're going to share are just a few of the products the department is pursuing, but are the furthest along in this process. I'm going to talk a little today about the HERE hazard warnings that GDOT is going to start receiving from our HERE subscription through the Eastern Transportation Coalition contract, formerly the I-95 Corridor Coalition. Next slide. Hey, Matt, next slide.
Is it coming through for you? Can you guys hear me? It locked up for me.
I can hear you.
Hold on real quick. Let me try to restart it. Is that coming through for you, Marc?
All good here. So what are hazard warnings? Hazard warnings are another way to provide drivers alerts based on upcoming road conditions such as slippery roads, reduced visibility, or a crash. These types of alerts can potentially reduce incident numbers and provide safer driving conditions. These alerts can also provide information needed to make proactive driving decisions before it's too late. Next slide. Hazard warnings are broken down into 3 groups: point events, such as a crash or a stall, area events, such as a weather event, and line events, which is when 2 alerts are received within a certain defined distance of one another during a defined period of time. An example would be a flooded roadway, where an alert is received from 2 vehicles within the same area of the roadway. This is similar to a point event, but the 2 points are then merged together into a line, broadening the area of the alert. All alerts have a lifespan of 30 minutes unless they are extended by a new incoming message. To make sure these alerts are accurate, data is gathered from a variety of sensors on vehicles and other sources such as our weather stations. You can see on the slide a few examples of sensors that assist with providing alerts in the system. These can range anywhere from wiper state providing visibility to airbag deployment alerting of a crash. What is listed is provided as raw data between HERE and the CAT lab. When it is available and visible for the department, it will be displayed in event groupings. Next slide. These alerts are not yet live in the system, but to provide an idea of what this would look like, the 6 icons on the bottom left have been provided for review. The H within a circle on each icon will allow users to know this alert was received from here, specifically to the hazard warnings. You can also see that this is toggled on and off within the Incidents and Events tab under the Here sublayer. Next slide. Diving a little deeper, there is also an option to filter out events with a defined quality index between 0 and 1. Since we have not had the chance to evaluate this data, we are uncertain what index the department is going to use for our evaluation, but that is something that we'll figure out as this data becomes live. Next slide. Here you can see a few examples of events being populated on the map. Next. The ones highlighted are fog alerts, but you can also see on this map disabled vehicles, crashes, and slippery conditions displayed as well. You can tell which ones are coming in from the hazard warning because they do have the little icon with the H in the top left corner. Clicking on an event will provide some basic information such as the time it was first reported, the last update that we received, a brief location description, and the quality index of the event being viewed. Back in. Our next steps, once this data field is available within RIDIS, the department will start a phased approach to evaluating this data. First, we will have a handful of operators across the 3 shifts monitor RIDIS side by side with the department's navigator system. As events are reported on both, we will evaluate the information received and the accuracy of the information. We will not be taking information from one platform to the other at that point in time. It's just solely for a side-by-side comparison. Once we've had the time to evaluate the systems side by side and have an understanding of the quality index we would like to utilize, we will then expand use to all 3rd shift operators on the operations floor, which is roughly 10 to 12 individuals. At that time, we will have both systems open and populate Navigator with any events seen within RIDIS that are not already within Navigator. This will be observed for a few months to provide the department a large enough sample size to decide if we will continue the use of hazard warnings and if we would like to integrate directly into our next generation ATMS. With that, I'll pass it off to Robert.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Robert Baker. I directly oversee the 501 Incident Management Group. And today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about our Sealight Live Universe tool that we are currently testing at the TMC. In the realm of incident management, one of our overall goals is to continuously seek new and innovative ways to decrease our response times as far as locating incidents, verifying their location, and getting here are champ units out to the motorists who need those assistance. We also want to decrease the likelihood of these more severe secondary crashes are taking place on our interstates. Prime example of this morning, we had a severe incident which started as a just stalled motorist passenger vehicle and ended up causing a secondary crash, resulting in multiple fatalities. So here at the TMC, we take our times very seriously as far as when we know about an incident and when we get response out to the motorists as quickly as possible. Next slide. One of our obstacles is determining the accurate location of disabled motorists when they're requesting 511 assistance. You'll be surprised at how many motorists drive to their destination and, will have a flat tire or need some gas or something like that, and don't really know what direction they're driving, don't remember the last exit they passed or the last cross street they passed because they're not really, paying attention to that information. Also, sometimes we have our operators have issues with locating motorists who are disabled in areas where we don't have, good camera coverage, or it may be a low volume area where we can't necessarily, detect the speed slowdown on our Navigator map. Next slide. So this led us to start utilizing and testing the Sealight tool from our vendor Carbine. Motorists who call 511 requesting hero or champ assistance and that are not sure of their location, our 511 operators can launch the Sealight tool from their desktop. As you can see in the photo to the right, this is how it look on the operator's computer as they bring it up. Next slide. Once the 511 operator initiates the tool, they will request that the motorist wouldn't mind them sending a link via text message to help determine their exact location. Once the operator gets the motorist's phone number, they type it up in the bar at the top, and the link will be sent to their phone. From the caller's perspective, they will get a text message with the web link. And I think you have to play the next. Stay on the previous. So they'll get a link, and once they click on the link, it will prompt them to enable their location. And to the image on the right, this is what the motorist will see on their phone once their location is enabled. Next slide. Within 10 to 20 seconds, if all goes well, the operator will have the motorist location. The operator will have their screen populated with all the motorist location information. They'll get a live update of the caller's location within an accuracy radius. They'll get lat-long information on the motorist location, and they'll also have a ticket generated by Sealight, which they'll use in Navigator to manage the incident. Next slide. Sealight does have the capability to record video, take video from the caller's phone, but GDOT currently decided not to enable that feature. Sealight also has the functionality to do real-time chat with the motorist, and this definitely comes in handy when the motorist may be calling from a rural area that may not have sufficient enough cell service to maintain a clear call with a 511 operator, but the signal could be strong enough to send text messages and via chat through this tool. So this will let the operator engage with the motorist, give them updates, and also retrieve information from the motorist and document it into Navigator and help them further manage the incident until response can arrive. So with the Sealight tool, we are close to initiating our phase 1 of testing this product. Previously, early this year, we were given 6 licenses that our operators started utilizing within the first weekend. I think they utilized the tool about 30 times, which went pretty well. No major issues went along with that testing. All the motorists were surprisingly receptive to utilizing the tool and giving their location to our operators. We recently acquired 13 more licenses, which will give us the capability to use the Sealight tool across all our 3 shifts. As you know, our TMC is a 24/7 operation. In phase 1, we will test out the Sealight tool by having our operators use the managed incidents in 3 separate ways. We will have our operators attempt to locate callers using Navigator, and then immediately send the Sealight link to verify motorist location and to compare the accuracy. Our second operators will immediately send the Sealight tool with the use of Navigator initially, then evaluate the impact this will have on dispatch time. Our third operator will not utilize the Sealight tool at all and manage the incident through our normal way of utilizing Navigator. Thanks. With that, I'll pass it on to Chad.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Chad Hendon, and I want to talk to you today about GA Alerts, Georgia Alert, Highway Emergency Link Platform. And just for a little background information, I want y'all to get an understanding of what IPAWS is. A lot of y'all probably done experienced IPAWS or the We Alert, and that's basically like an Amber Alert, or if you happen to be riding down the road or just somewhere and all of a sudden your phone start like just going off with emergency message that's coming in from the government. That's that IPAWS alert or that We Alert. And GDOT never had the capabilities until now to be able to use this feature with partnership with GEMA and FEMA and everything. So just keep this in mind. I'm gonna try to see, can I paint a quick picture for y'all on how GA alerts work? Next slide, please. Now, just think about right now of having a message board in every vehicle. Think about now us actually being able to directly talk to all the motorists during a major event in our state. Next slide, please. What is GA Alerts? GA Alerts is is basically a one-way or a two-way communication closure event for emergencies, and how we gonna actually manage and market it, the GA Alerts. We basically saying anything that's really goes over 2 hours with coordination with GEMA, we're gonna initiate that alert to be able to notify motorists in the Tropical area and so forth. With GA Alerts, you do not need any additional like apps or hardware or anything like that. Basically, you know, if you got a cell phone and you got your alert stuff on, you can receive this alert. Also, it basically, I think this is probably the most important thing about it, because everybody always crying about word or information coming from a reliable source, which is the state. So with the GA alerts, they are getting an official notification from us saying what's going on in the target area. And like I said at the beginning, everything is powered by IPAWS or the We Alert system, powered from FEMA, from the federal side. Next slide, please. All right. For the GA alerts, for the setup and everything, it's a lot of stuff I'm leaving out from the on the background part of it. But for our operators at the TMC and everything, this pretty much all they have to do. For the most part, once they create the event into our navigator system, our ATMS system, they basically then from that point go in and fill out the field and the closure on the GA alert side on their page. Draw, which is very critical, the polygon where we saying the affected area is at. And once they get all that in, it's basically just from that point clicking a few buttons to open it and to activate the actual closure, to send out that alert and everything. Next slide, please. So now here go the scenario. You know, think about you getting this message and it comes through, and all you got to do is just basically follow along. In your car or on your smartphone, you will get an alert that looks something like this, that's coming and clearly stating that it's coming from GA Alerts 511 and so forth, and it's prompting you to do a certain thing. One thing that it's going to prompt you to do is go in and register by just basically clicking a button. Once you click on the button, click on the link and everything, and accept everything that comes through that quick text, then it basically registers you into the GA alerts. So now for that event, while that event is going on, you getting all the information, all the notification about that event. Next slide. This how the registration side look for GDOT. And this is very important, because now from a department standpoint, we actually got more control of that queue that event has created. So once that motorist is trapped in that queue, and also I want to throw this out there because I know this probably going through a lot of folks' head about, well, now you got people texting and driving and all this stuff like that. Most likely, if with this type of event of 2 or more hour long event closure, most likely they sitting still trying to figure out why they not moving. So hopefully at that time they will be at a stop position that they can actually log in and register and do all the stuff. So once they log into GA Alert and they go to the register page, if you look at the image right here where it say register users, you'll see at the top of the page, it actually gives the department itemized list of the vehicles and stuff that's actually in that queue. If it's a car, a truck, a school bus, motorcycle, motor coach, you name it, is in there. Now, with that being said, the department has the opportunity now to go in and from JAlert, we can actually put direct like a message into it and send out a message to that certain class of vehicles per se. Just say we need all the truck drivers, all the commercial vehicles, for instance, to hey, we want y'all to stay still while we relocate the passenger vehicle type stuff, or if we want the passenger vehicles stay still while we get the commercial vehicles on the right shoulder type thing. We can actually now start talking back to respective vehicle owners and stuff, and hopefully they will comply with what we ask them to do through the alerts and stuff, and help try to break down that queue and stuff. Next slide. And that's what this slide here talking about, basically the one-way alert stuff. So basically us having a one-way communication to be able to send out a blast to the motorist within that trap queue in that affected area and everything, to get them to get them a heads up on what we're trying to do, and then try to see for them to be in compliance on what we how we actually trying to address the issue area that they actually going that's north of them or upstream and everything. The PA turnpike and stuff. This slide right here basically says this, like they was the first one, I think, to my understanding, that helped basically develop with the official name what they had called it help. We call them the GA alerts, but it started with the PA turnpike and they agencies and stuff up there. And this one of the things that they was using it for when they had bad snow events and stuff like that, to actually be able to talk to the motorists and send out that kind of blast to them and everything. Next slide. Now, the use case for the two-way, in a two-way communication, if you remember on the registration page, once we do our when we do our mapping and everything, it basically, it locates within that the map, the different, when they register their vehicle and stuff, it'll give us a color code dot on the map telling us, you know, that where that vehicle is, what type of vehicle it is, and all that other little stuff like that. So now that's how we'll know exactly, like, hey, if folks go in there and register and they're saying that, hey, right in this one little area, you got like 300 passenger vehicles, 50 commercial vehicles, and blah, 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 we can kind of easily go out and identify, and then we want to target two-way communication with certain vehicle types and stuff. We can actually do that with with this system here and everything, and direct message the party that we're trying to actually reach and everything. Next slide. Now the preamble alert. Now for us, this the game changer. I think this was really sold all us on this system. So all the stuff I said before, you think about, that's doing the actual closure. Okay. So that's kind of like you going in, you registering, and now you got it where you can talk and all that. With this, the preamble alert, this kind of like the heart of our pilot that we want to kind of like proof of theory to, is that we believe we can use this for doing a for the queue to actually help with secondary crashes and stuff, and basically reduce secondary crashes by reducing the queue, before they even get to the trouble area and stuff. So with this, the preamble alert, once you get the closure in place, the initial closure, we coming in now with the pilot and actually trying to see if we can actually set up another zone before you get to the actual closure to alert them before they get into a trouble area, to get them to go ahead and detour before they get caught up into the queue, which overall gonna help the responders, help us keeping the queue down, and also with secondary crashes, preventing with this preamble alert and everything. With that, I'm gonna turn it back over to Matt.
Let me unmute myself. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot. And let me get back to my full screen so I can see the questions that may have come in while we were talking. Sharing. So while we're waiting for a few questions to come in, I do have a few of my own that hopefully you guys can maybe elaborate on. And I'll just throw this out to everyone. Based off what you have seen so far with these applications, are there any initial changes that you'd like to see made in the future to these applications to make them more friendly to the types of services you're hoping to provide?
Sure, I'll take a stab at that. And I think from one to the next, to answer that's a little different. We are on our third round of what we're doing with the Carbine Sealight plugin, and actually now it's gone from Sealight to the Sealight universe because of a lot of things that we had issues with from the department. A lot of that being revolving around asking certain individuals for access of a personal device, the security of that personal device, and the liability on the department. So as we've been going through modifications of that Carbine product, they actually upgraded to a different platform they now call Universe, that has the chat function, the location function, and the video function as separate requests. When we first started utilizing that, when you sent a blast out to an individual that you wanted to geolocate, it was immediately followed up by a request for their camera access. And that's something that the department isn't interested in pursuing in this initial pilot. The geolocations of individuals is really what we're trying to get, that accuracy of an event. And so with that new product that they have, separating the video out, it makes it so the department can utilize that product without having to worry about the ability of accidentally asking for video access. But it also allows us internally with the Department for State Maintenance and Emergency Response to utilize that video function as individuals are leaving the cabs of their vehicles, as they are removing debris from the roadway and doing actual emergency and weather response. It'll give us that video footage that we wouldn't normally have because, and we didn't emphasize on it enough in this presentation, but between Carbine and GA Alerts, that's really our rural push, our rural incident management push. We think what's going on in Metro, we have great coverage, the accuracy's there, we have Hero Service Patrol, but as you get out into the rural areas, these are the products that are going to assist us with better dispatch times and better accuracy for the events that we're seeing in the system. And I think, with Chad emphasizing on preemption, when we first got into conversations with the individuals that provide GA Alert, it was right during hurricane season. And we were being asked by individuals coming into the state in the hundreds of calls entering from Florida, what they needed to do because 95 was closed in South Carolina. And that was immediate to us, that if we were able to preemptively message that to devices in cabs, we could provide that detour information without those individuals having to call. And it gives that peace of mind in a rural area. So further in on that, it's in talks with them, there's the ability to put in information such as if we're doing hurricane evacuation in Savannah and you're heading west on I-16, that app itself, when you go through a geolocated area, will tell you where the nearest hurricane shelter is and things to that nature. So I think there's a lot of improvements to those apps that'll come with time. And as we see them and as we get that information, I think we'll expand these use cases out.
That's great. Chad, Robert, do you have anything that you'd like to add from what you've seen so far with your testing?
Yeah, I'll just add. I think we're excited about the results we've been getting so far, especially with the Sealight product. I think within our next phase, our discussion is to potentially utilize Sealight within the construction realm to assist us with people within GDOT putting in TIRs to help us locate where those construction zones are a lot more accurately. This would allow us to put up better response plans, better position our messaging out on our CMS signs. Also to get more accurate information out to the motorists via the signs or via the app and website to let them know where construction is taking place and help them better plan their travel.
Hey man, I was just on the question that you asked. For GDOT on GDOT side, I think is right now we good with what we're saying, but for our sister agency GEMA, I think it's gonna be a game changer for them because with the Georgia Alert thing, they already been going back and forth saying a lot of the stuff that they got that's old antiquated type way of doing stuff. The help platform, the JAlert, actually resolve a lot of the stuff that they was already questioning, like how can we get better service or get a new product in. So it's kind of like the JAlert is really a true help to both departments for the state. So I think it's gonna be a real big game changer on their end. And I want to say for the most part, when they first started designing, if you think about with FEMA and stuff, it really was designed for that side of the house. But by us seeing other stuff for us to be able to use it, it's like we brought them a product that they've been looking for a while now. So that's why they're so happy to be able to partner up with us and stuff with it.
That's great information. I mean, could you maybe elaborate on what, the efforts that you went through with GEMA in advance of getting this live? What all went into that to make that all possible? I imagine there was a lot of coordination.
Yeah, this actually was really just once we, from the GDOT side, once we actually got the product and reviewing it and stuff like that, and started learning some of the stuff that we needed, like the what they call the IPAWS certificate, IPAW ID, and basically that actually is owned by GEMA from FEMA and stuff. GDOT don't actually have what they call that ID. So basically we had to go over there and actually pitch it and sell it and show them the product. And with the help of the PA rep, that was the counterpart, they actually I can't remember the young man's name, but they knew the guy who was the PA emergency manager up in PA. And when he spoke with him, he spoke so highly of it. He was just like, hey, we want to see it. Like, let us see what you're talking about right quick. So once they actually came in, they did a demo for us and GEMA. Pretty much a lot of the GEMA them, they was already like, hey, we need to get this up to upper management. We need to get this to our executive and let them see this and stuff. And then from that point, us just doing a lot of testing, a lot of back and forth, and getting the process in. And once that is really wasn't really, to be honest with you, it really wasn't no whole lot of heavy lifting. I think that was the real true 7 point for both agencies, because for our IT side, it was basically them opening up a port. And for GEMA side, it was just basically giving they over they ID to be able to use the certificate and everything. But all the stuff is already nicely packed in the thing that plug and play for the department. So it was like now GEMA them just going through the point of kind of update they SOPs, SOGs and stuff to actually incorporate that platform into their day-to-day emergency operation stuff and everything.
And this is Winter. I actually have maybe I guess a couple of questions. One, I was going to ask if this is available to locals, and then also y'all mentioned some apps and stuff, and especially you, Marc, regarding like heading down to Savannah and being on 16. Is the app available to the general public right now, or are we still kind of in a whole testing phase?
So the caveat to the app would be that as long as you have Amber Alerts in your settings on your phone, so that you can receive them, whether it be on your cell phone itself or in your on-cab device, those are alerts that we are able to reach you through what Chad's talking about with JAlert. That's something that is approved by the department, then approved by GMA, and then sent out through that same usage as an Amber Alert. So probably don't want to use the word app on our side, which we are stuck on saying, but as long as those settings are the way that they should be, then we have access to your device. The same with Carbine. As long as location services are on or enabled on your cell phone itself, and we send you that link and you accept the link, we can then geolocate your vehicle within 6 meters. And so in order for those two products to work, it really revolves around your cell phone device itself and the settings you have on your device.
Yeah. And also for like the local agencies and stuff, that's a no, because GMA is the owner of the ID, and no local agency will probably end up having a FEMA ID like what FEMA has. Like even GDOT, we don't have that ID, you know, and so no local like a county or something like that will have access to it.
So Chad and Robert and Mark, would locals have the ability to buy or license Sealight, and then Mark, would they have the ability to use the hazard warning data?
I can speak to both. Carbine product itself is something that the department got into a pilot contract with Carbine, and so the licensing that we have with them is something that is only available to the department. However, Carbine is available on state contracts. So that's something that any local entity can pursue, the use of the Carbine license. And the way that Carbine works is you pay per seat. So there's a plugin loaded on each workstation or device that you'd be utilizing for dispatch or operations, whether it be 911 or a TOC. And so that's something that's available on state level. In terms of the hazard warning data, that's something that we get through our agreement with here, and that's something that we're still researching on through the department's license if those features are available to our partners as well.
Hey, Mark, this is Bill. Why did you decide to put the hazard warning data in RIDIS instead of Navigator?
So the department actually volunteered to pilot the hazard warning data for the coalition. We kind of have high hopes that it's going to work, and that it'll work to the extent that the department does want to integrate it into our ATMS. And through volunteering and having this available in RIDIS, we're actually having the work done to build it and make it available for all other members if the results come out positive. At this time, the decision was made to not integrate with the ATMS as we are transitioning to the next generation ATMS. But again, if the test goes well, we anticipate integrating into the ATMS as an incident feed in the future.
That's great, guys. I appreciate that. Bill, did any more questions come in from the chat?
That's it for right now, as far as questions from the audience.
Got it. Well,
Matt, I have a point I wanted to make, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I think for both Carbine and JAlert, both of those two, I think the added benefit would be just the extra communication that we would have with our drivers. For instance, if we have someone out in the rural area at night and they call 511, they initially had a phone call with an operator. They were able to enable their location, and we were able to get it. We still have that ability to, through the chat function, to update them on the status of response. Just keep that communication going, because when people out and by themselves on the roadway, it just gives that extra level of comfort that they're not alone, they're not forgotten about, they're not just sitting there waiting. They have that information going back and forth, letting them know that we haven't forgot about them. Also with GA alerts, if there's something major that's going on the interstate or on a rural roadway, people are just sitting in traffic and don't know why. That extra communication that comes with that, letting them know what's going on, what's taking place, that eases them a little bit and not allows them not to be as frustrated if they're, trapped. And it also gives them that, we're creating that second zone where they can go into that zone and get a message immediately, let them know something's up ahead. Gives them that option to, divert and make another plan for their route. So just that extra communication can make all the difference in the world, to our motorists.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it's a really great point. It's kind of almost like you have an unlimited amount of DMS around the state at that point, all for all the snap of your fingers. Winter, I think we've about wrapped it up, so I'll hand it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, Matt, Mark, Chad, and Robert. And exactly that last point I think is key, is to give information to drivers in whatever situation they may be in, is wildly important, especially since we can now, given some of this CV, small c, small v, however you want to look at it, type communication. So Robert, definitely you hit it home, I think right there, is just being out there. If you were stranded on the side of the road and didn't know what was going on, just having that extra information gives you this level of security that we didn't have before. So yeah, thank you guys. If any of you still have questions, do not hesitate to go to ITS Georgia website and contact us, as we will do our best to get the answers for you. A lot of you probably know the people on this call, so you can also, I'm sure, reach out to them directly if you have any more questions. And again, a big shout out to Percy. Thank you so much, Percy and the Belden team, for your sponsorship for ITS Georgia this month. Also, just as some reminders, real quick follow-up, election process is underway. Look for them ballots on Monday. How that works, just for any of you who may not know, we are a company organization-based kind of process where if you belong to GDOT or you belong to a consulting firm that's a member of ITS Georgia, you get one vote. So there might be someone within your company or organization that is the voting person. If you definitely have some strong, thoughts when that ballot comes out that you would like to put your input on, find that person or ask us. We can probably get you in touch with the person who is your voting individual for your organization. The annual meeting, as mentioned before, it's scheduled for the September 27th to the 29th at the lovely Westin on Jekyll Island. The in-person registration, again, will be closed at the end of the day, but the hotel accommodations are still open and available for anyone who may want to watch it inside a nice room with a view or head out to the beach to listen in virtually. I know a lot of you are probably doing the digital learning thing like I am, so to maybe take your kids, let them digital learn from the room, and while you listen in on the wonderful technical sessions that have been pulled together. Also, let your friends know anywhere. Let's see how far we can get this virtual component out there. Let's see how far across even the world we can get it. So let them know that we're open. It's a very minimal fee for especially what you're going to get to tune into and listen to. Again, please go and sponsor, as we cannot, as I've mentioned many times before, we cannot continue without that sponsorship. And I want to thank you in advance. And do not hesitate to reach out to Dino, our annual meeting committee chair, or me with any questions. Also, we are still accepting donations to help the Boys and Girls Club get technology into the hands of children in our local community. So take that into mind. Please keep an eye out for any ITS Georgia emails and social media announcements to stay informed. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me or go to the website. Thank you all again for joining us today. And one more important note, if you or anyone you know needs some assistance during this situation, please reach out to us, as we want to make sure that we are available to help our members and our community in any way possible. Please continue to stay healthy, and we look forward to possibly seeing some of you in person, maybe next month, October, just throwing it out there. Keep your ears open and stuff. And again, many of you, we will see you virtually. Thank you again, guys.